In November 2012, paramedics rushed to a mansion in Silicon Valley where a wealthy investor lay dead. They found a crucial clue: microgram traces of DNA on the victim's fingernails matching a local homeless man named Lukis Anderson. There was just one massive problem. At the exact moment of the murder, Lukis Anderson was nowhere near the crime scene. In fact, he was hospitalized, unconscious, and under constant medical supervision miles away. Yet, his genetic code was clearly sitting right at the scene of the crime. For decades, we've been taught that DNA is the gold standard of forensic evidence. Movies, TV shows, and high-profile courtroom trials have convinced us that genetic material never lies. But modern forensic technology has quietly crossed an invisible threshold. We are no longer analyzing large pools of blood or visible bodily fluids. We are analyzing trace amounts of cellular dust. It's called touch DNA. And every single day, without knowing it, you are leaving your personal genetic blueprint on objects you've never touched, in rooms you've never entered, and next to people you've never met. To understand how an innocent man's DNA ended up on a murder victim miles away, we have to look at how forensic technology has evolved over the last 40 years. In 1984, British geneticist Alec Jeffreys developed the first DNA profiling techniques. Back then, forensic scientists needed a biological sample roughly the size of a quarter, usually a pool of blood or fluid, to extract a clear profile. By the late 1990s, the introduction of short tandem repeat or STR analysis dramatically reduced the required sample size. Today, polymer chain reaction techniques, PCR, can amplify infinitesimal amounts of genetic material millions of times over. We shed roughly 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells every single minute of every day. When you touch a doorknob, a steering wheel, or shake someone's hand, you leave behind an invisible biological signature. This transfer of genetic material is known as primary transfer. You touch an object and your DNA lands directly on that object. But science didn't stop there. Researchers realized that DNA doesn't just sit still, it travels. Welcome to the terrifying phenomenon of secondary transfer. Imagine you shake hands with a stranger at a coffee shop. That stranger then drives home and touches their front door handle. Your DNA is now on that handle, even though you have never been within 10 miles of their home. That is precisely what happened to Lukis Anderson. On the night of the murder, the same paramedics who treated an intoxicated Anderson in an ambulance were dispatched hours later to the crime scene. Using the same pulse oximeter tools and medical gear, those first responders unintentionally carried Anderson's skin cells directly onto the victim's skin. Anderson spent 5 months in jail, facing the death penalty for a murder he was physically incapable of committing. And Anderson's case isn't an isolated fluke. Studies show that up to 75% of objects tested in public spaces contain foreign DNA from people who never touched them directly. In controlled laboratory tests, researchers asked participants to shake hands for 2 minutes and then pick up a knife. In a staggering number of cases, the person who never touched the knife was identified as the primary or sole contributor of the DNA found on the handle. So why are courtrooms still treating touch DNA as airtight, bulletproof evidence? The problem lies in the software. Because touch DNA samples are so small, machines frequently pick up complex mixtures of 3, 4, or 5 different people. To decipher these messy samples, crime labs rely on probabilistic genotyping software. Algorithms like STR-mix compute the mathematical likelihood that a specific person's DNA is present in a complex mixture. But these algorithms operate as black boxes. In many jurisdictions, defense lawyers are denied access to the source code, making it impossible to audit how the software reaches its life-altering conclusions. Furthermore, low-template DNA sensitivity is so heightened today that a single stray cell carried on a gust of wind or an officer's uniform can produce a positive match. We have created machines so sensitive that they can detect an invisible biological whisper, but we haven't taught them how to tell us how or when that whisper got there. DNA tells us whose cell is on a surface. It does not tell us time, it does not tell us intent, and it certainly does not tell us innocence or guilt. Until our legal systems catch up to the reality of cellular transfer, the invisible trail of genetic dust we leave behind every single day remains a silent trap, waiting to frame anyone, anywhere, at any time.